Hello, my name is Dr. Elizabeth Zuraw, and welcome to Room 314. I teach learning support and life skills, reading, and math. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about our reading program, some of the things we do, some of the things the students encounter, and I'll then go into the math program and do the same thing, as well as give you a brief tour of our classroom. So I have been teaching special education for 27 years. I have my bachelor's degree from Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia, and I earned my doctorate at Immaculata University in Philadelphia. I really enjoy working with the learning support student. I like trying to figure out what their learning differences are and how to support them individually in the best way possible. In our classroom, it's very important for me that we all interact with each other with respect and kindness. We practice that all during the day, talking to each other pleasantly, human being to human being, even though the students may encounter differences among themselves as far as grade levels or friend groups or things like that. We take time to talk through problems and just really be kind to one another. I focus on this every day in and out of the block because communication and speaking is one of the main reasons our students are able to get and keep jobs, and the lack of being able to communicate well is also one of the main reasons they are fired from jobs. So I find that to be a really, really important skill. During the day, we talk, we laugh, we learn to laugh a lot. We learn to laugh with each other. We learn to kind of laugh at ourselves when we make silly mistakes. And that seems to keep the day moving nicely, and it keeps everybody in a good mood. This is our classroom. I'll spin things around here a little bit. We have my bulletin boards in the back where I keep track of the calendar. Students give me pictures from past years, which I really appreciate. I keep up forever. We have our Choose Happy little bulletin board back there that just keeps us remembering that, we get to enjoy today. Over here is kind of my area, and it's where I have my horseshoe. The students sit at this desk. I'm in the middle, and I can get to, as you see, everybody easily. So I can take time to look at everybody's work, everybody's sentences that they're writing, their sentence structure. I can talk to them. I can point. I can touch. I can do specific activities with the group or with individuals, and that seems to work extremely well for us during the lessons. I've got all kinds of bookshelves here. The books are coded on the spines according to the reading levels. So after the students test into a reading level, I have the opportunity to get them to a book that is on their level where they can read without missing more than maybe 2-3 words per page. So research has shown that if a student is missing a word or so a sentence, that their comprehension of or their understanding of what they're reading drops tremendously, and that we need to take care of right away. Over here, you can see we've got the mailboxes right there where the students keep all their folders, and that's where they go to for all their supplies. Every student has color-coded folders according to the block they're in. I got them these pencil pouches. So they've got individual highlighters, pencils, erasers. Some people have clocks for math. All kinds of things in here that they keep that are just theirs. So we keep touching of each other's things down to a minimum. In the back there, you see a second desk. That's for my paraprofessional, Mrs. H. She is with us throughout the day. So she and I, according to my lesson plans for the day, break the students into groups, and she'll focus with a smaller group. I'll take maybe a larger group. We'll switch students. We'll go back and forth. It's very fortunate that we have such a skilled paraprofessional as Mrs. H in our classroom with us. It really, really helps to make the day educationally sound. So the students sit here at their desks. Sometimes I'm up front teaching, sometimes I'm beside them, sometimes I'm at the horseshoe table. We move all over the place. Thinking about our reading program, I'm moving this on my rolling desk here. If we go over here to the side, the students, as part of our System 44 reading program, it is a computer-based program, so the students do test into it. They assess on phonics level and reading level. The program is able to assess them really well and very accurately. I do several nationally normed based and standardized assessments throughout the year to make sure that I'm interpreting the students' abilities and needs accurately. And this program here, their assessment fits in very well to everything that the other assessments show. So I feel that it's very accurate. This is all the books that are in our program right now that the students read independently. An example of a book might be something like this, ripped from the headlines. And what the students do is, part of this is together, part of this is on their own, and I talk with them throughout this phase of the program. They have a page that they work on where they fill out some vocab words, some definitions, some sentences. Then they do reading. They answer questions while they read. They have some open-ended questions on the back, and then they quiz at the end. They also rate the book to kind of examine what they liked, what they didn't like. So smart words are things like this, and they range in difficulty from beginner reading to a little bit more complicated. We talk about those. Then they have the reading. It's always got pictures to accompany it. What we ask them to do is to first look at the smart words, put down the definitions, make sure they understand what the vocabulary is going to be. Then they come and out of their block, they take the headsets that are assigned to them. I've put each headset in a bag, sealed with their name, color-coded for their blocks so that, again, we're limiting the amount of touching that's being done. They use their headphones to first hear the computer read them the book so that they get a feel of the pacing and the vocab. And then they take off the headphones. They read it through themselves where I'm interacting with them and we read together. And as they're doing that, they're filling out their reading log. After they've gone through all of that, they do a different sheet here, a different type of resource, a graphic organizer. It's on all different types of levels. It focuses on different things. Like this would be a word web for one of the books. This would be a more sentence-based structure where they're really checking for comprehension at a higher level here. We do that together as well. So the reading piece of it is very thorough. It focuses on group reading, independent reading, vocabulary, sentence writing, comprehension, and the test then that they take, the test at the end is a 10-question assessment. It is designed to follow the book in order, and the program really is looking for accuracy. They don't want guessing, so they encourage the student to take the assessment with the book, go back and look for answers. Sometimes the questions are a little more complicated than you'd expect, and they're looking for some very specific information. And they want the student to be able to find that information, interpret the question, find the information. And the goal is to score 100% each time. That doesn't mean that the test is easy and that your student is flying through it. It means that they've taken the time to go back and look for the information. And they are really excited when they score well because the test could take anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 minutes for them to work their way through those questions. It's wonderful when they do that. Believe it or not, that takes a huge part of the block. The other part of the block, maybe 20 minutes or so, we do independent reading where I meet with a student at a time and I have chosen a book for them that's on their reading level. We read together, we practice rules, I guess you would call it, as far as understanding how vowels are made to be long or short, how vowels work when they're beside each other in the sentence, consonants, blends, that type of thing. So at a level, it's a lot of phonics, really shoring up those phonics skills so that we get a really, really solid, good level of reading skills for the student to build on. And I would like to show you here as we walk through. We have a room in the back. Excuse me, I know this is a little cumbersome as I wheel this through. We're incredibly fortunate to have this additional room back here. And we call it the reading room. That's what I call it. So as you can see, the lighting's a little calmer. It's a little darker. And we have more bookshelves. The Learning Support Department received a donation from a wonderful family, and we were able to purchase books that really are of lower level reading skills but higher level interest, and everybody loves it. So we've got that. We've got a, let me see, maybe I could do this better here. We've got another teaching area here, where when a student needs to work quietly by themselves, they'd like some private time to maybe study for another class, or if Mrs. H or I would like to break a group into a smaller section and come back here and do some talking, we can come back here. We've got a reading section here, which I really like. It's comfy. It's got the comfy chairs. It's got the nice lighting. It's a grouping. And so the students can come back here if they want. Again, they can study, or sometimes they're really enjoying a book, maybe for power reading that the building does every Friday for 15 minutes at the beginning of every block silently. And so they can come back here and do that. So we are really, really lucky to have that. I'm going to take us out front again. Here we go back into the classroom. And math class is a different structure than reading class. Let me grab a math folder for you. I have that neat map here of the world in the back of the room. Math class. Grab a folder for you. Starts with a daily warm-up. So every morning the student is doing a warm-up. And the warm-up consists of two things. At this level, math is not only about numbers, but it's also about words. It's about reading. So part of the math warm-up on the top is about numbers, word problems, again, just working on basic skills, making sure you can carry and borrow, multiply, add, subtract. Make sure you can understand what the question's asking to answer that. And then on the bottom part, it is language, because word problems are about language. And so this is allowing the student to practice some very guided, detailed practice, comprehending what the question's asking, that gives examples, that gives explanations. And then again, I meet with each student individually. We go over this. My para also supports me with this. We go over it, we talk about it, and it's a nice way to warm up the class and get everybody's brain moving. Then we move into individualized sections where, according to the skill of the student and where they are, I pick for them word problems. And so some of the word problems are very complicated, some are easier, they're on all different levels. We work through these together. The students are, from the beginning of one-to-one correspondence with numbers and pieces to, full-on multiplication, division, figuring things out on their own. We work on that together. Students sit with Mrs. H. Some sit in the back room if they want to work on something by themselves before I check it. We sit at my table together. So we move throughout the classroom, throughout each block, doing everything we can. We have some days, we have some fun days where we work on flashcards or math games, just to keep the students' minds moving with math and to keep their interest level up and have them continue to enjoy the class. So that's what we do here. Please feel free to contact me anytime you have a question, and I'd be happy to answer whatever I can. And I'm really glad your students here. I'm really enjoying having them in person. And hey, thank you for coming to Back to School Night. Bye-bye.